Yani Madat, everybody. I hope everybody is keeping well, and I hope that you are participating in wear a mask when you are going out. I hope you're not going out too much, but if you're having to go out for whatever reason, please, please, please wear a mask. This is what will protect you and will make sure that you are healthy. I hope that you are also washing your hands. You're keeping up with the physical distancing. It's not easy, I know. But we need to do it to make sure that we are keeping healthy and safe. This has been another week. I hope you've enjoyed the various programs. You enjoyed the Kahoot program, that you enjoyed the evening program that our CPC team has been working so hard at making sure there's new information every evening. Tonight, there is an even more interesting program. It's a Dr. Shafiq Virani from the University of Toronto. He is a PhD from Harvard, but he speaks Hindi and Gujarati beautifully. And in this program tonight, he has a special message explaining what Hazrimam and what Malik Talib said a couple of weeks ago. And he draws from some very interesting historical stories that even I did not know. And it's an interesting lecture because he talks about what Hazrimam reminds us, which is to build better and build for the future. He speaks in three languages, in fact, in his lecture: English, Farsi, and Gujarati. It's not very long, but the messages are important. They bring us hope, they bring us happiness, and more importantly, they speak to all the different generations in our Jamaat. So please make sure you tune in tonight. Jamaati Mukhi Kamras continue to call you. The council continues to work in different ways to support the Jamaat, whether it's through programming that happens every evening, or it's the WhatsApp messages that you receive, or it's the strategic thinking that we do, talking to other councils, understanding what happens to our Jamaat after the COVID situation passes. So thank you again for your support. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you next week. Ya Al-Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. We are saying Ya Ali Madad again, and we hope you are well. We are missing you a lot, and we hope that you are taking good care of your families, children, parents, and seniors, so that they stay healthy and we can pass this difficult time with ease. We also hope you are washing your hands regularly, maintaining physical distance, and making effective use of all other safety guidelines. We ask you to remain united. We should use this time to take care of ourselves, reach out and connect with our loved ones, and also reflect upon how we can use this time productively to improve ourselves. Ensure you are regular in your dua and tasbih. In such times, we need to keep our faith strong, and remember, our Imam is always with us. Stay home and stay safe.
યારી મદદ જમાત કેમ છો? બરાબર છો? અમે આશા રાખીએ છીએ કે તમે તમારું અને તમારા ફેમિલીનું બરાબર ધ્યાન રાખતા હશો અને હેલ્થની ગાઈડલાઇનને પ્રોપર ફોલો કરતા હશો અને પ્રોપર રીતના ફોલો કરતા રહેશો. જમાતને કાંઈ પણ સવાલ હોય, કાંઈ તકલીફ હોય કે કાંઈ પણ જરૂરત હોય તો મુખી સાહેબ, કામડિયા સાહેબ, મુખિયાણી સાહેબા, કામડિયાણી સાહેબા તેમજ જમાતી લીડરશીપનો કોન્ટેક્ટ કરી શકે છે. અમે જમાતને નમ્ર અરજ કરીએ છીએ કે જમાત દુઆ, તસ્બીહ અને બંદગીમાં નિયમિત રહે અને વધારે તસ્બીહ નીકાળીએ કે જેનાથી આપણને મૌલા આ મુશ્કેલીમાંથી પસાર કરી આપે, જલ્દીથી આપણા જમાતખાના ખુલી જાય અને આપણી ડેઇલી રૂટીન લાઈફ રેગ્યુલર ચાલુ થઈ જાય અને આપણે સોશિયલ મીડિયા દ્વારા જમાત અને ફેમિલી સાથે કનેક્ટેડ રહીએ. યા અલી મદદ, ટેક કેર.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya Ali Madad. On March 28, our beloved Maulana Hazar Imam graciously sent his blessings and guidance to the worldwide Jamaat through Malik Talib, the chairman of the Ismaili Leaders International Forum. A few days ago, President Saib and Chairman Saib asked me to share my thoughts on this guidance with the Jamaat. I thought about the importance and meaning of Imam's blessings, about his emphasis on the unity in the Jamaat and helping those in need, and about why at a time of crisis he would speak of building for the future. Our Imam has actually written a lot about the pandemic that originated in China, and I quote, "There had been sinister rumors that an epidemic was sedulously and remorselessly spreading westward across Asia. There was a natural and general tendency to discredit its seriousness, but within a brief time we were all compelled to face the fact that it was indeed an epidemic of disastrous proportions." Unquote. In quoting our Imam, I'm actually not referring to Hazar Imam in this year's novel coronavirus from Wuhan, but to Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah and the bubonic plague from Yunnan, China, in 1897. The quotation is taken from the memoirs of our 48th Imam. The bubonic plague killed more than 1 million people in India, including many Ismailis. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah had a friend who was a scientist, Professor Waldemar Hafkind. The Imam offered his own personal bungalow as a lab. Dr. Hafkind went on to develop the vaccine, a vaccine that saved the lives of millions of people. In our history, we can often see our future. Our Jamaat has been through crises before, and with our Imam's blessings, we'll get through this one as well. In his guidance on March 28th, Maulana Hazar Imam wrote, "We must remain strong and prepare to build well when this crisis passes." How did our Jamaat build after the bubonic plague? Just a few years after the plague, the Imam gave us what today we'd call the Ismaili Constitution, the very first one. This laid the groundwork for all our modern Ismaili Jamaati institutions. We established sports facilities, dispensaries, schools, and later the volunteer corps. Hazar Imam said in his address at the Tutzing Academy in Germany, "The replacement of fear by hope is probably the single most powerful trampoline of progress." Many of you have probably heard of Major Lakhpati. He was one of the founding fathers of the volunteer corps 100 years ago. His famous poem, Khojao Tao Boja, demonstrates that trampoline of progress in the Indian Jamaat. Na odavane godari, na besavane sadari, aaj motor mahil ne, sar par sunehri pagadi, angadiye shobati, anguthiyo ratne jadi, kona e pratap che, besi vicharo be ghadi, panjatanni alani jare dua dil thi thai, sampati avi ucharti, Durdasha nashi gayi. He writes, "Those Ismailis with no blanket to cover themselves, nor mat to sit upon, today sit in motor cars and mansions. Golden turbans adorn their heads, jeweled rings grace their fingers." But reflect for a moment or two. How did this transpire? Good fortune leapt forth, misfortune took flight, when the air of Panjtan Pak showered his heartfelt blessings upon them. Malik, please convey my best paternal and my best maternal loving blessings to my worldwide Jamaat, and tell them that I think of them every minute of the day, each day, and I pray for Mushkil Asan and for their peace and happiness. Ameen. With the blessings of Ale Panjtan, there is no doubt that just as we got through the bubonic plague and other challenges, we will get through this COVID-19 crisis. Durdasha nashi jase, and we will get through it as we always have, together, united, serving one another and our friends and our neighbors, and emerging even stronger. With the Imam's blessings and guidance, our Jamaat overcame the illiteracy that was rampant in the countries where we lived, and went on to become a community that is admired throughout the world. And today we see the results. The Government of Canada is drawing on the expertise of Ismaili doctors, some of the most respected experts in this country, to address the current crisis. These very same doctors are also giving their voluntary service to the Jamaat to keep us safe. In virtually every profession, the Jamaat has done well. But we can't just sit on our laurels. Any business major knows it's not just growth that matters. It's the rate of growth. My dadima was what we would call anguta chap in our language. She signed her name with her thumbprint because she didn't know how to read or write. But she had the courage to follow the firmans of Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah. She left our tiny village of Mayenze so that her children could be educated at the Aga Khan Primary School. Her children went on to become professionals. This is the story of Ismaili families across Canada, from illiteracy in one generation to professionals in the next. Can we match that rate of growth for future generations? When Imam tells us that we need to build now, are we setting our goals high enough? Our youth have the opportunity not just to prepare to enter a profession of their choice, but to be leaders in that profession, to be among the country's and the world's best filmmakers, best scientists, best mechanics, best chefs, best entrepreneurs. But this aspiration to be the best has to be tempered with something else. After speaking of the necessity to build for the future, the Imam's message said, "The world is facing a challenging time, and in these moments it is important that the Jamaat remains united and focused on helping those who will need assistance and hand-holding." We've seen this unity in our Jamaat, and we've seen the results. When the Council put out a call for volunteers to help address this crisis, as always, countless members of the Jamaat signed up immediately. Muki Kamrias and volunteers have been calling each and every senior citizen and every vulnerable member of the Jamaat to make sure that they're okay. Countless volunteers at the top of their professions in health, secular and religious education, economics, and so on have stepped forward to offer their services for our children who are missing school, for our seniors who are vulnerable, for our business people and families who are struggling, and for all the others who need help. This is what unity can achieve. Hazrat Imam's mentioning of unity is something that our Imams, our peers, and our Dais have emphasized continuously for centuries. Half a millennium ago, Maulana Imam Islam Shah sent a very strongly worded message to his murids, which is still relevant to us today. The Imam wrote, "Ahle in taife, agar be tariq digaran, hasad o kine o adawat bar sar dunya bar yekdigar bevarzand, layik jamaat Maulana nabashand. و جماعت که بر یک طریقه اند و باشند باید که خون و رگ و بدن و روح ایشان با یکدیگر اتفاق داشته باشند." Imam Islam Shah says, if our community behaves like some others who harbor envy, disunity, and enmity against one another for the sake of this world, they are not worthy to be members of Mawla's Jamaat. If the Jamaat is to continue to be on a single path, their very blood, their veins, their bodies, and their souls must be united. In 2010, I was fortunate to be able to attend Maulana Hazrat Imam's La Fontaine Baldwin lecture in Toronto. He said that almost everything now seems to flow globally. Microbes and viruses, pollution and armaments, crime and terror. But let us remember too that constructive impulses can also flow more readily. Didn't we just see an example of this on Navroz? None of us could celebrate in Jamaat Khana, but our spirits were lifted by the stunning music video called Navroz Mubarak, launched on the Ismaili website, with lyrics and languages as diverse as English, Hindi Urdu, Persian, Gujarati, Russian, Portuguese, Burushaski, Arabic, and even a touch of Shugni rap. Over 100 Ismaili singers, musicians, dancers, and volunteers from 14 countries across the globe worked together on this to bring us together as one Jamaat. How many international communities could have pulled that off? In his guidance over the years, Maulana Hazar Imam has continued Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's message that Ismailis in the same fields, businesses and professions have to come together. We can build so much more when we're united, when we've developed cooperative societies, especially at times of crisis like this. Our young Ismaili artists have shown us how to do this. Are we ready to follow their lead? In his blessing, the Imam said he prays for the Jamaat's happiness. But where can we find that happiness? A disturbing study from San Diego State University shows that the number one priority of millennials is getting rich. But true happiness comes from helping others, not hoarding for ourselves. This is a fact supported by solid evidence. Let me give you just one example. Dr. Michael Norton is a leading professor at Harvard Business School with a PhD from Princeton. His research focuses on the connection between money and happiness. He conducted an experiment with first-year university students. The students were given envelopes with money in them. Half of them were told to spend the money on themselves, and the other half were told to spend it on someone else. The first group bought themselves things like earrings or coffee, while the second group did things like buying coffee for a friend, giving the money to a homeless person, or buying a stuffed animal for a child. Before and after the experiment, the happiness of all the participants was measured using standardized tests. In this scientifically conducted experiment, those youths who spent the money on others were measurably, dramatically much happier than before. But there was zero change in the happiness level of those who spent the money on themselves. When we use our material resources, our time and our knowledge solely for our own benefit, it doesn't bring the same kind of happiness we'd get if we use those talents for the benefits of others. Of course, beyond even this kind of happiness, there is another, much greater happiness, a spiritual happiness that comes exclusively from faith and ibadat. As the days go by and we look at our Jamaati calendars, there's a feeling of sorrow as we notice festivals and majalis pass that we would have observed together as a Jamaat. Today was supposed to be the first day of our Jamaati Mushkil Asan Sataro. Sataro, just like our other ceremonies, can only be performed in the context of the Jamaat Khanas that are sanctioned by our Maulana Hazar Imam. However, especially at times like this, we should be praying for Mushkil Asan every single day, reciting our tasbih and being regular in reciting our prayers. In the Imam's message, he mentioned the current crisis. We know that we've been through such crises before, and the Jamaat has always had the wisdom to know that by following the Imam's firmans, by remaining united, and by working hard, we've emerged even stronger. I began by mentioning the crisis at the time of the bubonic plague, and I'd like to end by speaking of a more recent crisis. When applications for the PhD program come in at the University of Toronto, in our department, a number of profs get together on the committee and we sit around a table and all of us look at the folders with the applications. So I was looking through the folders that were in front of me, and my colleague next to me was really impressed with the folder that he was looking at. He looked at me and said, "Shafiq, you have to see this." So he went and he put that folder on top of my pile, and so I went through the ones I had, and then I picked up that folder and I opened it. And I saw that it was an application by an Ismaili from Tajikistan. His name was Shaftalu Gulamadov. He was a master's student at Oxford University. He had outstanding grades. The references from his professors were outstanding as well. His writing sample was brilliant. And the last thing I read was his personal statement. The last paragraph was so moving that I had to leave the room so that my colleagues could not see how emotional I was getting. I contacted Shaftalu just a couple of days ago to ask him if I could share that final paragraph of his application with all of you, and he kindly agreed. This is what he wrote. Finally, on a personal note, religion has fascinated me since my childhood. I was born and raised in Tajik Badakhshan, where almost everyone is an Ismaili Muslim. In the Soviet era, despite the government's strong opposition, people in Badakhshan continued to practice their faith. I have vivid memories of my grandparents whispering prayers in a dark corner of the house for fear of being heard and arrested. What is religion, and what is it about religion that is worth risking your life for? I would ask my grandparents. We are not risking our lives. We are saving our souls. We are not risking our lives. We are saving our souls. The sun will rise and all the snow will melt. We will feel warm again, were the kinds of answers my grandparents would give me. Maulana Hazar Imam said, Malik, please convey my best paternal and my best maternal loving blessings to my worldwide Jamaat, and tell them that I think of them every minute of the day, each day, and I pray for Mushkil Asan and for their peace and happiness. We must remain strong and be prepared to build, and to build well when this crisis passes. The world is facing a challenging time, and in these moments, it is important that the Jamaat remains united and focused on helping those who will need assistance and hand-holding. Let's live up to our Imam's aspirations for us by remaining strong, remaining united, helping those in need, and building for the future. One day, this crisis too will be over. We will get through it together. The sun will rise, and all the snow will melt. We will feel warm again. Thank you, and Yali Madad.